Well, that's it. That's the last, obviously, day of the spring training. So the guys will be on their way for a couple weeks, then we'll come back and probably really haven't announced it officially, but on July 22nd, we're going to have the rookies, quarterbacks, and selected vets come in for a couple days, and then the whole squad will then be together on July 25th. So done this in the past. It's a great way for the rookies to get a lot more reps. Good way for the quarterbacks to get going, and those can be a very productive 2 days, and then we'll have the vets then and the whole team together on the 25th. In terms of the training camp, it's been written. We're going to practice with Detroit for a couple of days prior to playing them in the preseason game. I've done that in the past, places I've been, and it can be very productive, especially for the younger players. Get a lot of reps. And then in terms of the training camp schedule, for the most part, we're going to do our walkthroughs in the morning and then practice in the early afternoon. But there will be a handful of practices where we practice in the morning, so we'll just change it up a little bit as we go through the deal. So very productive off season. Told the players we've come a long way, but we've got a long way to go in all areas. So with that, I'll take your questions.
Pat, were you upset to see Harrison swing Hernandez's helmet at his head like that?
You know what? That's been very competitive the whole camp, and there's certain things that certainly we can't do. So we got it settled down. In the situation where scuffles break like that, we just take them out of the practice, let them cool off.
Do you consider sending snacks in the locker room early?
Well, we'll get them out of the drill and try to settle them down, but that's happened. I think it's very competitive up there. Will Hernandez is a very competitive guy, and they just kind of butted heads.
The scuffles are kind of one thing, but the helmet swinging, did that bother you more?
Yeah.
Did you happen to notice that shoulder got tweaked when it happened?
Yeah, I didn't see the whole deal yet, so I'll see it later when I watch the tape.
Did you get any update on how he's feeling?
Yeah, I think he's fine. Yeah, on the field update. Yeah.
Does bringing people in early affect the number of days you can practice?
No, with regard to the rookies and a list of selected vets, it doesn't. So it's really extra days, and that's why I think there's an advantage to it, especially when you have a rookie quarterback too, where he gets a chance to get a bunch more reps.
You said the quarterbacks will be here for those 2 days to Eli?
Yep. Eli will be here as well, yeah.
Pat, any update on R.J. McIntosh? It doesn't seem like he's done.
No, I mean, he's going to have a procedure here, but there's no real update, no change in the situation.
Do you think he'll be ready for training camp?
We're hopeful, yeah.
How about Avery Moss? We saw him just working on the side also.
Yeah. Well, he's one of those guys that had an injury a year ago, and he's working through it, and we're hopeful he'll be ready to go come training camp.
Coach, is this Al Neal's job to lose?
No, there's a competition right now.
Pat, as you break for break, and now that you've had some time to see Eli Manning with your own eyes, you're in meetings with him, you've seen him out in the field, is there one part of his game that you didn't know he had that you've now learned about Eli Manning?
I don't know that. I guess it's all the stuff, above the neck, all the cerebral stuff that you don't see by watching him play, having worked with him now. He gets it. He gets it. Football makes sense to him. He comes out here every day and displays that. And behind all that is a whole lot of work that, it's the perfect combination in terms of a guy that prepares, a guy that takes it very seriously, and then a guy that can come out here and take what he's learned and put it to work. And so probably the cerebral stuff.
You couldn't talk football right after you got hired with him. You kept saying that. Were you impressed by how much him and Davis did to get familiar with your offense, though?
Very impressed. As I mentioned, during the dark days of our year where there's no conversation for coaches, they really embraced learning what we want to do.
Now that you've seen Davis on the practice field, whatever it is, 16 times, what's your overall impression of where he's at?
I think he's improved every day. I think he's got an outstanding skill set. I mean, big, strong, can throw. Saw today, can run around, and and he's gotten more and more comfortable with what we're doing. So he's made steady improvements through the spring.
I wasn't here yesterday, but I heard Odell stayed after and caught balls from Eli. And then today, toward the end, he and Eli and the quarterback's a couple staffers, but he was catching the passes from Eli there.
Yeah.
It looked like they were working on routes and stuff. So what do you take from those things, both the staying after with Eli, but also that drill?
Well, yeah, well, I mean, obviously, anytime you catch a route from a quarterback, you learn something about one another. And so they've spent time together. I've noticed that their relationship is real strong, and that's typical of what players do. You know, they work together. You know, and I think that's, you know, Odell's been able to do a lot here full speed. And as I mentioned, he's been cleared to practice, but everybody's in. Guys that end the year, you know, with injuries come back at different rates and get involved with more and more of the drill work. And so for him to spend that extra time with Eli, I think is great.
Do you have a takeaway from this spring of him as a player and person, Odell?
You know, I think we're just still getting to know each other, but I have a real, I've said it before, this guy loves to play football, and he gets it as well. And so when I see him in the meetings, when I see him here on the field, regardless of what he's doing, when I see him on the field, he's really engaged. And you can see just by him running routes versus air and some of the drill work we're doing that he can really help us.
When you want to get involved in how much he's able to do in the snap count and all that, do you have any reason to believe that he won't be able to do everything come training camp when he gets here?
No reason to believe.
Has he told you he'll be here?
I haven't talked about that with him.
You take 2 more.
I expect to see everybody here.
Coach, when you look at the depth that you have at corner, maybe a lack of depth right now, how do you see this playing out in training camp? How are you hoping to improve that?
Well, it's competitive. You know, we were talking about it this morning. I was sitting with James just going back over the roster. It's going to be competitive to see who's going to be, in my mind, our 3rd, 4th, and 5th corner. You know, we've got some candidates that are doing some really good things, and we just got to see. And then they got to have a role. You know, certainly when teams are in base, you know, we got Jack Rabbit and Eli out there. But then when teams go to nickel, which is more than half the time, there's going to have to be a guy step up, and we'll just have to find the role, and whoever that guy is, we got to do the things that fit what he can do best.
Pat, you put a lot at them this spring. Has stuff begun to crystallize for you and your assistants as far as what you're going to keep, what you're going to toss out when you get to training camp?
Yes. That's I mean, that's an excellent question. That's part of what this training is. You know, we try to put together an offense and a defense, and you come out here and practice different things, and each day you emphasize different things to try to get a feel for what the players can do. And then as we hone in on what they can do and what works best against ultimately Jacksonville in the first game, then we'll focus on those things.
Where do you see Davis Webb and Lauletta, the 2 young quarterbacks, in their progression?
I think they've both made great progress, and I'm looking forward to them continuing that when we get here in training.
Coach, we've been asking all the head coaches around the league the same question. Between now and the start of training camp, what's the one thing that's going to keep you up at night, maybe perhaps worried about this team going into training camp?
I'm always concerned about injuries in practice, you know, but I think if we try to practice the right way and try to train the right way, you know, we can minimize that. You know, this is a very physical game, and you know, we just got to be smart about how we train.
Pat, when you say goodbye to the players today for a month or whatever, do you kind of either warn them or give them some insight into staying out of trouble? You know, it's a rough period here sometimes in the NFL.
Is it?
Sometimes.
It can be. Yeah. Well, you know, we've talked to them about all the work we've done to this point, and with 5 weeks to go, it's not time off; it's time away. So to continue with their preparation. We're always talking to them about being a good citizen, and you know, we say New York Giants pride for a reason. So be very smart, you know, guys that be good husbands, good fathers, and be good citizens. And so we talk about that constantly. I think it's just part of what we do, and we encourage them to do the right thing in every area of their life.